Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's me, your boy Hebot. And I'm going to come at you today with another video. And today, I don't predominantly do videos like this, right? Because I try to make my channel more about games, gaming content, right? Playthroughs, interviews, Fig reviews and things like that. Anything pop culture related. Even movie reviews from time to time, depending what it is. Because I don't, consider myself a movie reviewer or more of a critiquer or just giving my personal, opinion about what I think about certain things. And they're just something that came to my attention a week ago almost that I wanted to talk about because, quite frankly, this is the reason why you can't have any respect anymore in the industry of video games as far as media goes. Because either these are things that are done deliberately to troll and get clickbait and people to go and follow, or most of these people that are working there that are considering themselves and think that they're some type of gaming analyst or that know gaming have no clue. And just because they play video games on popular consoles like a Nintendo or a PlayStation, they think they know video games and that they can speak without having really all the details or facts, right? So I'm going to try to talk about this subject here, and I'm going to try to talk about it going through the list that is in this article. And this article is by the website called, I think it's Mu. It's MUO. I don't know how much credibility this site has, but I do, and I don't know if they're predominantly a site that likes to do satire. I'm not sure. But from what I've seen so far, I don't think it is. So you see what it says there in the headline, and if you don't see, I'll read it out for you. It says 7 reasons why you shouldn't buy an Xbox Series X or S. And this is published by a Joe Keeley, which I'm going to look up his face and put it probably in the thumbnail to see if there's even a fake picture of him from this site. And he published this on January the 25th of 2022. This ain't back in 2013 either. So this just goes to show you that the rhetoric, the lunacy, and the idiocracy continues within the medium and the media of video games, or so-called video games. So we're going to go down every one of his reasons, and I'm going to try to kind of give my opinion and my thoughts and why he's wrong, and it's really a dumb reason and maybe even an analysis. And again, I'm not a media guy, but I am a gamer, and I am a person with a wealth of knowledge in the gaming space for playing and being in the space for so many years. So when you come to my channel and I try to give you the content, it's from the heart, it's from my mind, and it's from a good place. I mean well, and I mean it because I don't like bullshit rhetoric, right? This is why I don't do a lot of videos like this. But in this case, I think it warrants the video because this is beyond ridiculous at this point. And this information is false. And people that go to it and see it, that may be a casual, might run into this, that may be in the idea of buying an Xbox, for example, or Series S, and then say, no, forget about it, because of all these false reasons, right? And again, I'm gonna put a link to the site on the description below, so you guys can go read all his descriptions on why he said what he said. But I'm not going to go through all that, because then the video will be too long. So what I'm going to do is we'll start with number 1. There are no console exclusives, ladies and gentlemen. And what he means by no console exclusives, he's talking about because you can play a big majority of games that are on Xbox on PC. But what he fails to mention is that consoles and PC are two different spaces. A PC is a personal computer that you built yourself. You can actually build a PC that doesn't play any games whatsoever. So it depends on the investment that you make on that computer or personal computer in order to play games and how you're going to play them and at what quality you will play them on. That's number one. But if there was no console exclusives, then you would be able to play Xbox games, right? Because it is an ecosystem on PlayStation and Nintendo. You can't play a Halo or a Forza or a, let's say, a Gunk, for example, on a PS4 or a PS5 or on a Nintendo Switch. The same way you can't play God of War or a Uncharted on an Xbox. And you could play them on a PC, right? But you can't play them on an Xbox, right? So for him to say no console exclusive is absolutely idiocracy, because the major the major consumers that buy consoles are people that are not tech savvy, computer savvy, mom and pops, grandparents and grandfathers, and even aunts and uncles, or even brothers and sisters, or perhaps even a nephew or an uncle or an aunt for a nephew and a niece, that go buy something for these demographics to buy them a console because it's an easy box with everything you need it included. You plug it, you play it, and that's it. It does everything for you. From a download to letting you know if the game is not reading, or if you have to do something specific like empty out memory because you don't have enough memory to fill in to download the game, and where to put that game at, whether in an external hard drive or internally in the console itself. So that's his number one reason. And by that logic, obviously, then you don't need a PlayStation either, because you can play a big majority of PlayStation games either to PSN Now or natively through the releases that they're doing, like they just released God of War. But Xbox ecosystem is also PC, which is kind of dumb because Xbox as a company and Microsoft are PC. You see? So whatever you have on your console, you can take it and play it on your PC. But you could also play it on a tablet, on a phone, and on your laptop. But through an Xbox account that you have through them, with all your libraries of games. You can't play them on a PS4 or a Nintendo Switch. You see? Also, there are some titles, some small, some big, that still you cannot play on a PC or on your PC that are on Xbox. You can only play on an Xbox console. Like games that you also play via back compat on the Xbox from 3 generations or 4 generations back, that you can't play them natively back compat on a PC, or with enhancements that are given to you for free through a console, like the Series X or S, or even the Xbox One X, which that started last generation. Another detail that he fails to mention. So that right there is absolutely false. Let's go to the second reason. Reason number dos. He says, proprietary expandable storage. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is moving the goalposts beyond moving the goalposts. Yes, Microsoft provides a 1 terabyte and 12 terabyte expendable slot cards that are only done because they are, licensed by Microsoft. But it's because they use the technology that Microsoft created in the Series X and X, which is the velocity architecture. And in order for those to work properly, seamlessly, like the way it does internally with the games you put in that storage slot, is by having that expandable memory. There are no third party that makes that expandable memory. Absolutely. But there's no third party that's going to make an expandable memory slot card and going to charge you cheaper than what it costs being an official licensed one. And if you don't believe me, the proof is go to look at the PlayStation and look at their expendable memories that they're getting that are all third party and not officially licensed. And every single one are more expensive, even the smallest one, which would be 1 terabyte, than the Xbox expendable slot one, which is $219. The cheapest one for PlayStation is $256. And you need to also open it up yourself. You need to make sure that expandable memory has a heat sink, and you have to make sure that it's in there properly to then update it, and it's done at your own risk. Because if you do it on your own by yourself, it tells you we are not reliable or liable if anything happens to the PS5 and something goes wrong. Meaning, if it gets ruined, guess what? You gotta fucking take the cost as a 5 or pay for the repairs of the PS5. Meanwhile, with Xbox, all you do is you take it out the box and you connect it right in the back. And again, even if you bought 4 of those for the highest memory count on a PS5, which is 4 terabytes, you're still only paying under $730 as opposed, or $750, as opposed to the PlayStation. The third-party one, that's 4 terabytes, is $1,035. I love how he fails to say that in that article as well. So again, this is a stupid, dumb reason, because the SSD technology, even on PCs, are still expensive. They're starting to go down because it's all based on how fast the speed is in that hard drive. And the velocity architecture is the speed that Microsoft decided to go with the architecture for the Xbox Series S and X, and is compatible with both consoles, not just one. So you just slide it in and it does the work for you. Okay? All you do is pick where you want to put it at when it comes to the games. So again, another false narrative and reason. So we're going to go down now to this third reason. It doesn't support VR, virtual reality. Listen, absolutely, he's right. It doesn't. But why doesn't it? Because VRR, or VR, virtual reality, is not a profitable market at this point. And even on the PC where it's being used the most, it's still not profitable enough. It makes some money, like Oculus Rift, but that's just a actual piece you buy separate and you use it in your own personal space. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, said clearly, we're not interested in the VR space until it makes sense and it makes more money, because it's not something that people are going to migrate to, because it's an isolated situation. It's more of a gimmick. And yes, people enjoy it. Not saying that I'm knocking it for the people that do enjoy it. More power to you. I'm happy you do. But the reality of it is that the mainstream people that buy it, like casuals, are not interested in VR. If they even purchased the VR, it was when it was on sale, like on the PlayStation 5 and 4, right? And they bought it when it was dirt cheap, just out of curiosity, and probably used it once and never used it again. With the majority that did buy it. That's why you don't see a lot of games for VR. Because it's a solid, isolated experience. And gaming right now is very social. So since it's very social, more people want to play games together socially. So that's why they're talking about making the future VR like a metaverse. Breathe through a digital, reality of video games landscape when we're in there socially. And until it doesn't get to that point, which probably won't be for another 20 or 30 years, it's not profitable. So Microsoft doesn't offer you that option. Now, could it offer you that option with the Series X because the architecture is strong enough to give you a good experience with, like, a Oculus Rift or one of the ones that you buy for PC? Absolutely you can. But they still haven't implemented, because again, it's not profitable. So if you're for VR, then yeah, maybe I give them that for the fact that it doesn't support it, but it's not a viable product right now. So no business that's smart is going to invest in a product that is not going to make the money. Sony already invested on PS4. They had to make sure that they continued investing this generation to keep giving it a try to see if it works in their benefit and make some money back, because they already made a big investment. That is why it makes sense that Sony made a new one, or is making a new one for this generation, which is still not out Mind you, it's still not out. It was announced, but it's not out yet. So that's a 50-50. It depends on the person, but most people, you can go look at the data on PlayStation. There's only a 4 million 4 million people bought it, right? Sold units, and most of the units sold when they were on clearance at Walmart for $150 when it was a $600 piece of equipment on top of the console. Let's go to reason number 4 rather. PS5 has better games. Do you see the lunacy and the retardedness of this man? PS5 has better games. Says who? Says who? Metacritic? An unsecured and controlled site that is run by all the other medias like this one that always pander to whatever's popular to them or what brings them views and clicks. And those are the audiences of PlayStation majority and also for Nintendo, where they favor those companies because they're more Japanese or because they were here longer than Xbox or because they don't like Xbox in general. That is a subjective matter. But the reality of it is all Xbox games offer things that no PlayStation game offers, which is called longevity. Because Xbox games have other features that are important, like not only couch co-op, but they give you co-op campaign, which is a single player experience that you can play with 1 or 4 people, or 3 people in some cases. It offers you a multiplayer component for people that like multiplayer aspects in gaming. So when they finish the campaign, they can jump right on multiplayer in the world of that game and play with friends and compete and do silly things and silly game modes that are fun to play. And fun factor is very much important. And this man is acting like, with what he's saying, like games on Xbox don't have movie quality experience, which they do. Because if you never played any games like Quantum Break, Rise, Son of Rome, or even something like Gears of War or Halo, those are very story-driven, heavy narrative, lore games with lore that are actually continuous, that have continuity. Unlike most of the PlayStation games, that the continuity is all over the place, and they're always bastardized with one of the next generation, and they mess it up to begin with. Just go ask the fans of The Last of Us 2 how they feel about that story after they disrespected the main 2 characters that they fell in love with the first game. So again, he's trying to say that Xbox has no great games, and yet Xbox has games that still have people playing them today because of co-op campaign, because of multiplayer components, because they keep adding DLCs like story or for the maps in the multiplayer component. It has shelf life, and they have procedurally generated games as well that grow with time, which they call them the gas games, right? Pay as you go, right? That type of stuff, which allows players to continually visit and have new content to play and to experience, like Sea of Thieves, 25 million players, Forza, 15 million players, Halo, 20 million players in under a month. There's no game on PlayStation that people still play now today that came out either at the beginning of PS5 or the beginning of PS4 with that type of player number counts. Not even God of War on PC. They maxed out at 79,000 people actively that bought the game playing it. The rest probably pirated it. And 79,000 on a console space is an ultra flop. An ultra flop. Okay? An ultra flop. With a unit base of 111 million units according to their numbers. Or 115 million units sold and shipped. Or shipped. Whatever. So, also false. Very false. Because a lot of the games that Xbox have also have good high ratings. Just because one's 92 and one's 98 doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's still a very high score. And you cannot rely on something like Metacritic for high scores to determine if a game is good. Because it's unreliable and uncontrolled. Anyone can go in there with a certification and put whatever the hell they want, even if they didn't even play the game. Because we've seen it happen before. The user base is what's supposed to count. And a lot of times when the user base don't agree with your opinion of a game, they shut it down and don't let them vote anymore, like they did with The Last of Us 2. So again, another dumb, false narrative that is subjective and actually absolutely incorrect. Reason number 5. The Xbox Series S is underpowered. Now you see this fucking moron? Excuse my language, you see this? First of all, if you want the ultimate power, that's why you buy a Series X. And Microsoft offers you the ability not only to trade up your old consoles and you just play the difference, they give you something that Sony has never offered. And that's called Xbox All Access, which means you can buy the console with your credit line, paying it monthly at your leisure, like a layaway plan. For those who don't have the economical freedom and stability, which is super consumer friendly. The Series S, I'm not even going to lie to you, outshines the PS5 in many ways because it offers features that the PlayStation 5 does not, that he fails to mention as well. Yes, the PS5 can output games at maybe 4K in 60 more than the S. But the PS5 doesn't have more games that output at 120, 1080, or 900 like the S, because it has VRR support, which is the variable refresh rates. Technology that is not on the PlayStation, and the way they utilize it is very underpowered because barely any games run it. Also, on top of that, okay, the PlayStation does not support at all Dolby Atmos surround, which is the highest quality of surround that if you have it connected to a surround sound or a headphone that's supported like this one in front of me right here, you get the ultimate experience with the games in sound quality. Just like the Xbox Series S also supports DirectX 12 Ultimate, which still has not been utilized because it's under the Unreal Engine 5 engine that has not been out yet for any game except with the upcoming, I believe, Starfield, and I think the upcoming Hellblade 2. If I'm wrong, you can feel free to correct me. Again, like I said, I'm freehanding this. It's just out of my memory of the things that I remember. Okay? The PS5 doesn't support that. It still works with API. On top of that, the PS5 doesn't have 4 generations of backwards compatibility with free enhancements and boost mode. The PS5 doesn't support smart delivery. The Series X does. The PS5 doesn't even load up some games faster than the Series S, because since the Series S outputs at a lower resolution with some games, is actually faster than the X and the PS5. You see? So it's a give or take. The only real thing the Series S can't do that the X and the PS5 do is output genuinely at a higher frame rate, like 60 frames with a higher resolution. It could also do ray tracing, even though it's underpowered according to this asshat. And not only that, to be honest, you could look this up. The processor on the Series S is faster than the PS5. That's a fact. Go look it up. So again, for the price you're paying of $300, a Series S runs circles around a digital PS5. And with the Game Pass solution and offering that you get with the Series S that you don't get on a PS5, it runs circles around a PS5 regular with the disc as well. Because you're getting value, or more value for your buck. That's without question. That's without argument. And this asinine guy here that has a position in gaming that someone like myself and a lot of us would only dream of having to talk about gaming, and he's using it irresponsibly and being a fanboy of whatever the hell console it is that he likes, because he's not mentioning PlayStation. But by him saying that PlayStation has better games, I'll bet you any money he's a PlayStation fanboy. So again, dumb, asinine reason. Incorrect, false narrative. Let's go to reason number 6. Oh, this is a doozy. The controller lacks innovation. Jesus H. Christ. Are you serious? Mister, all the innovations that you see on the PS4 and PS5 controllers started on the Xbox controller and on the Nintendo controller. You don't need a speaker to hear yourself talk or blow on the controller. We're not making love to the controller, we're playing video games. You don't need a touchscreen because it barely works correctly and no real developers implement it in their games because it's not really an intuitive way to implement in video games. That's like saying don't use the Kinect was amazing, but you guys say it was awful, and it's the same idea but without the controller. The same way that the haptic feedbacks and on the triggers were on the Xbox controller way before it was on the PS5 and PS4. The haptic feedback on the triggers that it used, the technology, is actually on the Xbox Elite controller. The only difference, it's not automatic. It's manually, where you shift it down, and each time you press it, it gives you the feeling like you're using certain things, like when you pull the trigger on a gun, and it feels like you're pulling it less or you're just popping it instead of having a real strong pull. It's the same feature. But let me tell you something that maybe you didn't know, mister, and a lot of you out there. The Xbox controller utilizes the best technology that any real gamer looks for in games. It's called DLI, Direct Latency Input. It gives you the lowest input count of any controller in history on a console and PC. With that direct latency input, all the games feel like bread and butter on screen. There is no latency, almost unmatched. It's almost undetected. It is so low. Which is a feature that, I'm sorry, you do not have on the PlayStation controller. On any of them. Or a Switch, for that matter. And what's more important? For you to hear a speaker, the controller, talking to you and you blow on it? Or for you to have precise and precision in your games when you play them by the latency input that it provides? I mean, it's not rocket science, people. I think the evidence is pretty evident. Just use your brains. And it has no innovation. He doesn't even mention it in his article piece down here. It's called DLI. Look it up. So let's go to the last reason. Oh my Jesus Christ. Oh my Jesus Christ. Do you see what? Can y'all see that? I wish I could see that. Oh my God, I wish you guys could see that. It says, wait for the next iteration. Jesus Lord. Is this guy serious? If the Series X and the PS5 generation just started, literally, under a pandemic that barely people were able to get their hands on any of the consoles, even the Series S, why would anyone in their right mind wait for the next iteration of consoles? If this generation barely started, we barely touched the surface or scratched the surface. Doesn't make any sense. No, it does not. Because these are new generational consoles. They haven't even been tapped into. And going forward, it's just going to be better for the consumer because the prices will start to go down once they're more in fruition in the market. And the libraries are going to grow even bigger. So we'll be able to have more games and more experiences. And better yet, guess what? Take a hold of this one. The consoles will actually utilize the power of the consoles in the games. Will actually utilize those power, and we'll start to see the benefits in the games. Do you see that? So why would you want to start over and wait? So you're saying skip a whole generation? That almost sounds as stupid as the people that didn't buy a Dreamcast back in the day because they said they wanted to wait for PS2 because it was going to be more powerful and had a DVD player. Like we play movies. You see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? The fact that he even put that as a reason, that almost sounds like he didn't know what else to write. So he just wrote, let's wait for the next iteration. Iteration, the next one. You see that? Now, the sad part is, this man's piece will get hundreds of thousands of hits. And people will believe this asinine stupidity and make him get revenue and grow. While guys like myself, right, or other guys in the community that do awesome work from the heart, like E-Rock or Sega Man, even though they may be a little vulgar and a little straight, narrow, or even unlimited or legal or 100 or Sega Forever, so many good people in the industry, in the community, that actually are gamers, that actually care, giving you real information, not playing the neutral card, being afraid to say the truth and not hold back, or even somebody like Joby, for Christ's sakes. Okay? That many think he's just a troll and toxic, but yet he has more knowledge than 90% of the fucking clowns out here. Okay? And he speaks from the heart, whether we agree or not all the time or not, because he's a Nintendo guy and I'm an Xbox guy. I don't always agree with him, but I agree with him with a lot of things, because I know when he talks, it comes from the heart. He's not coming from a place of propaganda. We are the guys that stay sitting behind, sitting at 900 and 30 or 912 subscribers for like the next 15 years until I hit 1,000. At some point, maybe if I show a man nipple, I'll get some more subscribers. But anyway, this is the crap that I'm talking about. This is the stupidity that has not stopped. And it's comical, because people are not dumb. Just like my brother in Limited E-Rock said, they're not dumb, they know. But unfortunately, there's so many people out there that are so foolish, and they rely so much on this type of stuff from media, that when they run into something like this, they actually believe this social insultment. Because this is what it is, a social gaming insultment. He's insulting gamers and the industry by this dumb piece that he wrote. Microsoft right now with the Xbox is the most consumer-friendly product that anyone can want. Only a person with no brain cells would argue that playing on an Xbox makes no sense. Even if you're a fan of Sony and Nintendo, it makes perfect sense. Because with a Series X, the power that you're getting with the console in comparison to what you got to pay with it, getting a graphics card like a 970 or 980, whatever the hell it's called, the new one, that costs about $1,200 or $1,500. Some places are selling for $2,500. You got to be a moron, just so that you can play better resolution or more stable frame rates. You want to pay thousands of dollars more, when this is a $500 solution, and with a trade-up value, it's a $300 solution, because you could get $200 right now for any Xbox One X. Even on GameStop or anywhere you go trade it, you get $200. So you're paying $300 essentially, with change in the tax for this console. You see what I'm saying? So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This guy right here, this Joe Keeley, brother, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but if you just started, you need to reconsider a new career. Because if you're going to start your career by doing this type of pieces, nobody should give you any respect. Nobody should take you serious, because you're a disgrace. And I'm a small guy, so you can come after me all you want, because I'm going to just make fun of you and laugh at you. Okay? Because you're a moron, you're an idiot. And if you did this for fun and as a parody, please let us know. Please let us know, because this is a shame. This is shameful. You should be ashamed that you put your name on it. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. As always, share the video with someone you think might like it. And for those of you that continue to give me support, thank you so much, because without you, my channel would not be sustained. I'm completely humbled, as always. For all of you that have been subscribing as of late, thank you. I'm completely blessed. I can't thank you enough. It's been really nice to see. And I'm really happy that you guys have trusted in me, trusted in my channel, in my content, to come and take the time to at least, even if you don't agree with me, it still means the world to me. So if you subscribe, thank you again also, because I know you didn't have to, but if you did, just remember, I consider you now part of my family. If you guys want to find me on social media, I am on Twitter under The Most Powerful Gaming Historian. I'm on Instagram under C_respect. I am on Twitch with the name of HeBot, or it's capital H, then everything else lowercase, all one word and all together. So it's capital H, he_bot, the number 8 powerful gamer on Twitch. You guys can find me there when I do live streams, if you want to follow me there. And also on Xbox Live and on Nintendo Switch, I'm under HeBot8. On the PSN Network, I'm under Alf Fell from Sky. All one word as well, all lowercase. Alf Fell from Sky. Then, if you want to find me, on YouTube, it's here. On YouTube, I'm under HeBot. As always, guys, if you want to help me out any way, shape, or form, it'll mean the world to me. If you have the means to, if you want to do it from the kindness of your heart, I'll be totally grateful and humble, because it will go a long way and it'll help me tremendously, believe it or not. You know how to do it. It's all down in the description below with my PayPal and my Patreon information. And if you guys want me to highlight anything, review anything, highlight anything, stream something, review a game, you want to make a donation, you can. Just hit me up on one of those DMs. I will be more than grateful and more than humble to do so. This is your boy HeBot signing off. Keep it gaming, people, and please don't listen to Joe Keeley. 7 reasons for not... Why don't you say, I should have done 7 reasons not to read this dumb, stupid piece of article that's a piece of master joke. Alright, guys. Peace. Bye-bye.